Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. Running on Nintendo Switch 2. Just what was Sayaka up to? And where were my other memories? I had a sinking feeling it would be quite some time before I could free myself of my regrets and cross over. Chapter 4. After that, I tried taking the career survey to a variety of places to try and get the visions to occur, but they simply wouldn't. How many places have I been to already? With no progress, I felt my heart breaking. Staring at the printout in my hand, I tried to think of how to conjure a memory from that day. In front of the Tsukumo Shrine seemed the most likely place. I'd gone there, but saw nothing. I thought it would be the memory of being hit by a car. I had learned about the incident from Koyo, but I still couldn't remember it happening. It wasn't that I didn't believe him, but I wanted to experience the memory for myself. If I can't remember that moment, what's the point of any of this?
Misa-chan?
I turned to face the voice that called out to me and found Senna standing there.
こんな時間まで何やってるの？まだ制服のままだし。まさか、あれから一度も家に帰ってないの？
He spoke in a nervous and worried tone. I turned to look at the clock in the shopping mall and saw it was already 9 p.m. From his perspective, I got sick in the afternoon and still haven't returned home. Yeah, it made sense that he was worried. I have something I have to do, so I just stopped by here real quick. Of course, I'll head home right after this. Try as I might to calm him down, Senna's questioning continued.
じゃあ、制服なのはどうして？
I went home and fell asleep. Then I woke up and remembered the thing I had to do and came here. Sena looked at me suspiciously.
もう用事は終わった？
Yep, I just wrapped it up. Heading home now. Is he buying this? Sena let out a loud sigh.
じゃあ、もう帰った方がいいよ。僕が家まで送るね。
Ah, thank you. Wait, what? You want to take me home?
だって心配だもん。こんな時間に女の子一人で帰らせられないよ。
I understood what Sena was saying, and I was genuinely grateful for his concern. But I didn't have to worry about any of that now. I'm a ghost after all, though I can't say that to him now. Maybe I can just flash him a smile and get him to calm down. My house is nearby, so don't worry about it.
ダメ。昼間もそうだけど、ここで会ったのも何かの縁だしね。さ、行こう行こう。
Wait a minute. He took my hand and began pulling me in the direction of the exit. I had no choice but to follow him. We left the mall and walked for some time before reaching my house. It's okay now. We really are close. I stopped and pulled my hand away from Sena's. I'll be okay from here. My house is in this neighborhood, so... What is it?
さっき、すぐそこって言っていたけど、結構歩いたよね。
Well, yeah, that's...
まあ、いくら僕が有名人だからって、今日会ったばかりの人間に、家を知られたくないよね。君を送っている間に考えたんだ。僕こそ不審者だなって。
He wore an apologetic smile as he let go of my hand.
ごめん。不安だったよね。ただ、君が心配ってだけだったんだ。それは信じてほしい。
Of course I understand. I never once thought you were acting weird. I know that you're a good person, Sena. For Sena, each and every day we met was the first time. And yet he was also always so sweet to me. I know you're just worried about me, from the bottom of your heart.
君は、どうしてそこまで僕を
Because, I'm a fan, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's he helped me in the afternoon. I want to tell him that he's always helping me, but he wouldn't understand that. I had to express to him how much he'd help me in the words he would understand. You helped me this afternoon, right?
あれは当たり前のことをしただけだよ。
Well, it meant a lot to me. It made me think you're a very kind person with a very warm heart. I still think that. Santa raised his eyebrows in surprise. I guess that might be a bit too much.
そうじゃなくて、ほら、僕が君に一目惚れしたってそう言ったら全否定されたからさ。特別に思ってくれていたなんて意外だったんだ。
Yeah, how about that?
でもそっか。特別か。これは脈ありかもね。
I think I might have given him the wrong idea. But I guess Santa really does believe he fell in love at first sight with me. Just thinking about it made me embarrassed.
困ってるね。
I'm sorry.
君には迷惑かもしれないけど、僕は考えずにいられないんだ。君と僕の間には何かあるんじゃないかって。
Yes, we're both dead. He wasn't totally wrong about that, and I wanted to know why he felt that way. And what makes you say that?
それがね、僕にもわからないんだ。でも、恋心って言葉ではうまく説明できないものだから。
As he spoke, Santa outstretched his arm towards me. He gently touched my hair, and I felt my heart beat feverishly. That's a little ticklish. I spoke hesitantly, but Santa merely continued to smile.
笑顔もいいけど、そうやって照れる姿も可愛い。
It was the first time a man had ever said something like that to me, and I had no idea how to respond. Santa, I think you've got the wrong idea.
あ、また否定する。そういう風に言われるとショックだな。とはいえ、これ以上はダメだよね。
When he took his hand away, I felt a sense of relief.
そんなあからさまにほっとした顔しないでよ。
Well, what did you expect? I was so nervous. How am I supposed to act?
その緊張っていい意味でかな。
I'm done with this conversation.
あ、ごめん。お願いだから許して。
Seeing him beg for forgiveness like this, I decided to tease him. I'll forgive you, but in exchange you had to promise me to remember me. As expected, he stared back at me, dumbfounded.
そんなことでいいの？僕が君を忘れるなんてありえないのに。
His words made my heart ache. If only that were true. Well then, if it really is love at first sight, you won't forget me. I didn't know why I said the words, but I hoped somehow that they might make a difference. Perhaps if he remembered me, even a little, I could use his love at first sight to help.
忘れないよ。約束。
He held out his pinky for a pinky promise. Please, Santa, please don't forget me. I had no idea if that would help him cross over, but I didn't want him to forget me anymore. Until we meet again, then. With that, I left him. Santa's perspective. When Misa and I went our separate ways, I headed back to the beach. She said something so strange. Of course, there's no way I'd forget her. And yet, when she spoke those words to me, her eyes were so serious, so earnest.
セナ。あ、こうよ。約束してないのに会うなんて奇遇。どうしてここにいる？今日はオフだったから、久しぶりに地元に帰ってきてたんだ。あ、連絡もせずに帰ってきてるから、拗ねてるんでしょう。
I spoke to him jokingly, but Koyo didn't seem to respond to it.
いつも芝生広場にいるのに。それは学生の時でしょ。
Something about this felt off. There was something wrong with him. He never acted like this.
今日何やってた？ああ、運命の人に会ったよ。 それがね、ある女の子を助けて。よかった。意識が戻ったみたいだね。今急いで病院に連れて行くから。病院に。病院って何？
Koyo bolted towards me, grabbing me by the shoulder. But what surprised me more...
僕は彼女は病院に。
That seemed very strange.
彼女？誰？ミサちゃんっていう女の子が。ミサと病院に行ったの？
No, wait a minute.
違う。僕が介抱してあげて。多分それで彼女の体調が良くなった。
Yes, that's what Misa said. Did she mention the hospital? Something strange. Something's very strange.
なんか今日の僕おかしいかも。昼間にも知らない映像が見えたりしてさ。疲れてるのかな。あいつの存在が影響させてる。え？何？なんでもない。今話しても忘れるからいい。忘れるって何言って？
Well, then, if it really is love at first sight, you won't forget me. What were the two of them talking about? They were acting like I forget everything. My heart feels like it's going to burst. I really don't feel good. No. There's something very weird going on with me today. Was it just today? I don't remember seeing those images I saw this afternoon. Was that today? I can't remember. Misa's perspective. Ghost didn't get tired. I knew that, but after all that had happened that day, I felt emotionally drained. Groggy, I finally reached the nurse's office. As I did, Yui came rushing up to me.
こんな遅くまで帰ってこないから心配したじゃない。
I was surprised to see her speak so forcefully to me. She was worried about me. Knowing that I had a place to go home to and someone to worry about me, it filled my heart with warmth. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you worry. There's just a lot I wanted to look into. After sighing with relief, I told Yui about all the things I'd found out that day. When I finished, she looked as happy as though she had been the one to make all this progress in crossing over.
生前おかしな声が聞こえていたというのが気にかかるわね。
That's true, but the fact that I can't remember my death seems odd as well. Either way, it all seems very mysterious.
ええ、普通ではないと思う。
Hearing her say that so bluntly made me realize just how strange it all was. Koyo was surprised I couldn't remember my death, too.
そのおかしな声、闇へ誘うものだけれど、一概に悪いとは思えないのよね。
I wonder. I think that invitation into the darkness is what caused me to die.
そうなのだけれど、闇へ誘うものがあなたに告げた内容は、すべて悪い意味のようには思えないの。だって、困難は降りかかるけれど、前を向いていれば大丈夫って、そうも言っていたのよね。
Yeah, I suppose so. That's true, the voice did say that. Up until this point, I had been focused solely on the identity of the voice itself. For now, I've decided it is best just to try and gather up the pieces of the printout and restore my memory. Once I do that, I'll know who invited me into the darkness and what their words meant.
ええ、そうね。考えているだけでは答えは出ないのだし。
Right. I've got to do my best so I can cross over. I spoke with determination, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I thought of him. Senna isn't able to think about things like this. It made sense that Koyo felt the way he did about Senna, too. As I got to know the two of them, I had trouble thinking of Senna's problems as somehow separate from my own.
あなたを見ていると、私も勇気が湧いてくるわ。頑張らないとって思わされる。
Yui, have you thought about crossing over? Until that point, I realized I hadn't asked very many questions about her. Actually, it wasn't just her. The lingering regrets of the dead was surely a sensitive topic. It wouldn't be right to go around asking just anyone about them.
私はあまり思わない。いえ、自分のことは考えていないの。やらなければならないことがあって、それがうまく運べばそれでいいから。けれど、臆病者の私はそれから逃げていて。
I could never imagine Yui running away. She always struck me as rather dignified.
でも、あなたと関わるようになって頑張る姿を見ていたら、私もしっかりしないとって思えたわ。いつまでも閉じこもっていられない。他の幽霊と接することが苦手だったけれど、そろそろ外へ出ないとね。
I didn't know all the details, but if she was doing her best to move forward now, if there's anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to lean on me.
ありがとう。あなたもいつでも私を頼ってね。
Right. The two of us smiled at each other.
とりあえず休んだ方がいいわ。今日はもう考えるのをやめなさい。
You say that, but I just end up thinking even if I don't want to. Yui made a troubled face and then turned to look at me with a smile.
それならおしゃべりしましょうか。外のことを教えてくれる？今の流行などをね。
I found her suggestion to be very charming, and I felt my heart leap. And so the two of us chatted until morning. In the morning, after spending the night talking with Yui, I decided to go out for a bit. My aim, of course, was to try and unlock the memories contained in the career survey sheet. As I passed the school gate, thinking about where I should go first, I spied Koyo walking up to me. Good morning, Koyo.
おはよう。今日は機嫌良さそうじゃん。
I took some time to relax, that's why.
そっか。それならよかった。
He smiled back at me before his face turned gravely serious.
あんたに話があってきたんだ。今少しいい？
Sure, what's up?
セナのこと。昨日、あいつと病院に行った。
How did Koyo hear about that? Did Sena tell him last night? No, we didn't end up going. Before we could reach it, Sena's memory was, how should I put it, erased? When I told Koyo about yesterday, he looked back at me with surprise. Something about that made my heart beat faster. I decided to ask him something that was bothering me. Did something happen to Sena? Koyo stayed silent, but his face told me he was debating whether or not to tell me something. He's probably going to tell me not to get involved with this. I figured he'd tell me that I have my own issues to focus on instead. Please just tell me, Koyo. I want to help Sena too. Still, Koyo remained silent. Koyo. After a while, he sighed, as though he'd given up.
あんたと関わることで、セナに変化があった。あんたに関する記憶だけが完全にリセットされてないみたいで、覚えてるっぽいんだよね。
Really?
ただ、あいつ自身も混乱してる。
My initial feelings of joy were complicated by the news that it was causing him to be confused. I wondered if it was doing more harm than good to Sena. Why is it that he only remembers the memories with me?
俺なりに考えたんだけど、まずセナが生きている頃の健康な状態の日を繰り返してるっていうのは覚えてるよな。
Right. He keeps resetting back to before he found out about his illness.
そう。だからあいつは大体において決まった行動をとってるし、毎日会う幽霊は俺だけ。俺より先にあいつは死んでるから、俺は途中からあいつのルーティンに加わったわけだけど、俺に会うことはあいつにとって何も違和感はない。生前からの友達だし、この成見ヶ浜は俺たちの地元だから。でもあんたは違う。
I see. I began to get the gist of what Koyo was saying.
多分俺以外の幽霊で毎日セナと顔を合わせているのはあんたくらい。
That was true. I had seen Sena every day since I became a ghost.
そしてセナの生前にあんたはいない。つまりあんたはイレギュラーな存在。
And that made sense. I was someone who wouldn't have been there in Senna's healthy days, but now he was seeing me every day. So I'm causing him this confusion. If his memory can't totally reset, then I'm going to ruin his happy routine. Koyo shook his head.
その幸せは偽りでしかない。あんたはもしかしたらセナに現実を見せられるかもしれない。リセットがされなくなることで身の回りの変化に気づき、いずれは死んだと認識させられるかも。
If that happened, he might be able to face his lasting regrets, and perhaps he could cross over. So, in that case, you want me to keep meeting with Sena, right? If I could help him change, then perhaps there was hope for him after all. Yet Koyo's face remained still.
ミサにはミサのやるべきことがあるのに。ごめん。気が向いた時でいいから、あいつに会いに行ってほしい。
When he finished speaking, Koyo bowed deeply and with rare sincerity. In response, leave it to me. Leave it to me. After hearing that, Koyo raised his head slowly. The expression on his face was deeply apologetic. You don't have to look so sorry. I've grown to care about Sena too.
悪い。本当にごめん。
You don't have to apologize. It's really okay. Feels kind of like there's nothing I can say now. If I said anything else, I felt like it would only make him feel more guilty. Well, I'm off to go and try to find Sena. I spoke with a bright smile, and a small grin crept up Koyo's face.
ありがとう。セナならこの時間は駅前あたりにいると思う。
I was relieved to hear him say something that didn't sound like an apology. I said goodbye to Koyo and made my way to find Sena. Near the station, I searched for Sena. Where is he? I looked through the crowd and let out a sigh. That's right. Knowing Sena, he's going to try to do his best not to be seen. In crowded places, Sena always tried to hide himself from others. I started looking around for inconspicuous places, like behind pillars. I walked around for a while until something flashy sparkled in my vision. That's... Huh? Without thinking, I gasped. I didn't know why, but he was in a place with a lot of people. Sena! I called out to him as I approached, and his face lit up.
僕に気づいてくれたんだね。
I was shocked as he quickly grabbed me with both hands.
君くらいだよ。僕に声をかけてくれたのは。どういうわけか、みんなに無視されてしまって。僕の知名度はどうやら地に落ちたらしい。
I stared at Sena, who seemed to be in a state of total despair when it finally hit me. He had gone out of his way to be in a populated place. Yeah, I guess when there are so many people around, people don't really notice, huh?
本当にそういうもの？
Yeah, pretty sure. Either way, you shouldn't let it get to you.
君にそう言ってもらえて、ちょっと元気出てきた。ありがとう。
I smiled back at him, but inside I couldn't help but feel a little sad. So he forgot about me today, too. The Sena that had fallen in love with me was already gone. Though I had shut him down all day yesterday, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't flattered. So, are you off today? His usual expression returning, Sena nodded.
久しぶりのオフだから、地元に帰ってきていてね。せっかくだから、街に出て買い物でもしながら、懐かしさに浸ろうと思ったんだけど。
He trailed off. He sounded melancholic. Perhaps he was sad that no one in his hometown recognized him. In that case, how about we go for a walk? We can soak up the nostalgia together.
いいの？君これから学校なんじゃない？
Oh, right. I was still wearing my school uniform. We're off today. I just had an event at school. It was a flimsy excuse, but it seemed like he wanted to believe me, so he accepted it without protest. Well, now that we're here, I figured if we toured some of the places Sena and I visited together, he might remember me. With that thought in mind, I dragged him around from place to place. but I simply couldn't get him to remember and ended up just wasting time. Having exhausted all of our normal spots, we finally reached the ocean.
ああ、いろんなところを回れてすっごく懐かしいよ。
I'm glad to hear it. The whole thing had left me depressed. I didn't expect his memory to come back at all at once, but there wasn't even a hint of deja vu. Koya told me this would happen, but he really doesn't remember me at all. Koya would probably get upset if he knew I doubted him.
ごめん、疲れちゃったよね。僕ばっかり楽しんじゃったな。
No, I'm not tired at all. I really enjoyed taking you to all those places, Sena. That was the truth. I had enjoyed going to those places together with Sena, more than I had expected, actually. Perhaps it was because I was with Sena. His bright and bubbly personality always found a way to make me smile. There was something dynamic about him, and it was obvious why he'd become an idol.
この海浜公園はね、僕にとって世界で一番好きな場所なんだ。
Oh, so it's pretty special to you then?
うん。子供の頃は遊具で遊んだり、芝生広場で寝転んで星を眺めたりもしてさ。親友と夢を語り合った場所なんだ。
I figured the best friend was probably Koyo. I had been watching the two of them for the past few days. They obviously cared about each other. I felt envious of both of them. Having passed away, I would never be able to talk with Sayaka again like that. Not to mention the way things ended with us. And she was still trying to save me. What did she think she could do? I was sure she wanted to find a way to talk to me. I'm sure she was thinking the same thing I was. We both wanted to end things in some different way, better way. And that would make me so happy. I put my hand in my pocket and touched my career survey. If only I hadn't changed my plans for the future. I wouldn't have made her cry like that.
ねえ、どうしたの？
Ah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
僕さ、ラジオをやっているんだけど、お悩み相談のコーナーが大評判なんだ。
Oh?
だから、話を聞くのは得意だし、アドバイスもできると思う。
Was I really looking so gloomy that he felt like he had to say that to me? Yet the smile on his face and the warm glow in his eyes made me want to lean on him. And so I... talk to him. What does it matter? He'll forget tomorrow anyway. In that case, whatever I tell him won't be a burden on him. With that self-serving excuse, I began to tell him about what was bothering me. My best friend. Well, the words wouldn't come out. I didn't know where to begin.
大丈夫だよ。ゆっくり。自分のペースでいいから。
Thank you. When I smiled back at him, he spoke.
こんなこと言うのはおかしいんだけど、君が話す気になってくれて、少し、結構嬉しいんだ。
Sena stared deeply into my eyes as though he was in some kind of daze.
どうしてだか、君の話を聞きたくて、たまらなくて、やっと心を開いてくれるって、なぜか。
Finally? His words reminded me of our second meeting. When we met at the Tsukumo Shrine, he was very concerned about me then. Could it be... is he remembering back to that time?
初めて会うのにおかしいよね。
As he spoke, he laughed and returned to his old self. It was just as Koyo said. There was something about me that Sena remembered. As happy as that made me, I still hesitated to talk with Sena about what I was going through. Would I end up becoming a burden to him? But having decided to lean on him once, I couldn't deny my desire to do so again. I'll try to tell you about it again, some other time.
いつでもいいよ。ずっと待ってるから。
His kind words filled me with a sense of calm, and in the end I decided to speak. I have this friend. She's been my best friend since childhood. Sena was the first person here I'd told about this. My voice faltered as I slowly told him the things that were causing me such grief. I hid the fact that I had died by telling him that the two of us were merely separated. Then, when I had told him everything, began to speak slowly.
多分その親友の子はさ、急に聖銀大学に行かないってそう言われてショックだったと思う。詳しい理由もなしに、ただ違う気がするからって言われて混乱したんじゃないかな。
I felt a sharp pain in my chest that gradually spread throughout my body. As I spoke to Sena, I got a better perspective of my actions and how I hurt those around me. I was filled with regret at what I'd done. I cast my gaze to the ground when I felt a gentle hand caressing mine. Looking up, I saw his eyes staring kindly back at me.
君は抱え込みすぎていたんだよ。友達に話せば気を使わせるって。実はね、僕の親友は君にそっくりなんだ。何でも抱え込んで心配事を話してくれない。僕からしたらそれってすごく寂しくてさ。だって力になりたいじゃない。
His words struck me. I could tell he really meant them. I was wrong to tell her I wasn't going to Seigin the way I did. She must have wondered why I changed my mind. Had I been able to tell her why, perhaps things would have gone differently. I knew that I would never have realized that had Senna not listened to me. I wonder. Perhaps the fact that he cared about me was why his memory didn't reset. That seemed a little self-absorbed, but I couldn't help but wonder if it was true.
まあ、僕も同じようにあまり心配かけないようにしなきゃって隠していた部分はあるんだけどね。でもどうしてたかバレちゃうんだよね。僕ってわかりやすいのかな。
I think that's just called being honest. My friend's the same way. That's right. It was right here by the ocean. It was our first year of junior high. It was the first time I'd seen Sayaka in a long time, and she was acting strange. As I thought back on it, something came to me. What was this? This was my junior high school classroom. This took me back, but why was I here? Why was I seeing this memory?
私ね、最近ネイルアートにハマってるんだ。私は海外ドラマよく見てる。木田さんは好きなものある？
Huh? Sayaka? But where was she? I didn't see her. And those girls, they were looking at me. Was this Sayaka's memory?
私が好きなのは幽霊とかお化けとかそういう話。え？オカルトってこと？うん、知ってる二人とも。この学校にも七不思議があるの。音楽室のしゃべる肖像画とか、理科室の動く人体模型とか。今度放課後見に行かない？でもちょっと怖くない？木田さんいつも怖い話するよね。怖い夢見ちゃうからやめてほしい。あ、ごめん。それよりもみゆちゃん、あのドラマ見た？見た。最後に言われてすぐ見たよ。小学校の時の方がよかったな。
Sayaka. Once we got into junior high, we started going to school and with kids from other districts. The classes just grew and grew. The two of us ended up in different classes. So in the beginning of that first year, Sayaka and I didn't have the chance to see each other much.
みんなと仲良くなりたくて、仲間外れにされたくなくて、興味のないドラマをチェックして話を合わせようともしたけど。おはよう。教えてくれたドラマ見てみたよ。あ、そうなんだ。それよりさ、昨日見に行った映画が面白くて。そう、終わった後めっちゃ語ったよね。二人で行ったの？うん、木田さんはあまり好きそうなジャンルじゃなかったから誘わなかったの。だってホラーとかそういうのしか興味ないじゃん。そんなこと。いいよ、無理しなくて。あ、そうだ、みゆちゃんさ、今日の放課後暇？うん、空いてる。
ていうか私もサイコ誘おうと思ってた。
どこで何を間違えたのか、彼女たちに合わせようとするたびに空回り。他に気が合いそうな子を見つけようにも、クラスにはもうグループが出来上がっていた。そして私に話しかけてくる人は一人もいなくなって、学校に行きたくなくて数日間この海を眺めに来ていた。どうしてこうなっちゃったんだろう。自分から誰かに話しかけることも、誰かから話しかけられることもなく、まるで自分が幽霊になったような暗い日々に耐えられなかった。そういえば小学校の頃、ここでよく遊んでたっけ。私とミサで放課後にちょっと足伸ばして。
サイカ。
ミサ、
All right, well, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching 9 R.I.P. Running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.